Welcome back to Red Devils Talk. Green and gold until the club is sold and all that. Breaking news, as you see in the thumbnail. A final offer, a final bid from Sheikh Hassim has been submitted. But there's also been competition from Sir Jim Ratcliffe. We'll speak about that in today's video and a bit of transfer news surrounding Harry Maguire, which is a positive if you understand exactly what I'm talking about. But before we get into everything, subscribe to the channel. Definitely click the notification bell so that you know exactly when I do upload videos. I talk all things Manchester United, and of course, my name is Sashin. So let's get into it. So right before I decided to make today's video, I basically wanted to speak about transfer news. But literally, right before I set up, immediately it comes through via the Lawton Times, via Mike Keegan. It literally has been submitted. Sheikh Hassim has submitted a fifth and final bid for Manchester United. Now, final because it is also said that he has put a deadline of Friday on that particular bid, and that is because he feels that if they do not accept his offer by Friday, the Glazers, then he will definitely leave the bidding process. I think he can clearly see that the Glazers just want more and more money from him. And in the same breath, he's got competition from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who basically has got into bed with the Glazers by offering them an opportunity and a position to stay, and not a full takeover, a full sale is what we as Manchester United fans are wanting. Now, it has been said that he is in the final stages of negotiations with the Rain Group and he's emerged as clear favourites, again, via the Lawton Times in the UK. Now, that's bad news for those who don't want Sir Jim Ratcliffe, for those who don't want the Glazers to be here. And I am one of those people. We cannot look to compete with the likes of City, Real Madrid, etc. in the transfer market or compete on a top level if we do not have the finances to do so. Sheikh Hassim has clearly put an extra 1 billion, almost 1 billion in terms of investment to the club, the infrastructure, the players, etc. It's there in black and white for you to read, for everyone to understand. But the Glazers still want to stay. They still want to suck as much money out of this club as they can. They are leeches, they are rats. Call them whatever you want, but they just want more money. I didn't want to be speaking about the Glazers and the takeover, but the update came and I had to say my say on it. It's crazy to think that even with up to, and this is in dollars, almost $6.5 billion being offered in cash to the Glazers, and still they're not budging. There are people who would literally let go of the club for much less than that because of the amount of money that is coming their way. But the Glazers clearly don't want to leave, and if they don't want to leave, it looks a lot like we're probably going to be getting Sir Jim as an owner. And already there's a fault with the fans keeping the Glazers at the club when none of the fans want them at the club. And two, he clearly will not be clearing the debt. Sheikh Hassim has made it clear, and I say again, that he wants to clear the debt. That he will clear the debt. And imagine a debt-free Manchester United. We definitely will be dominating in the transfer window and also on the pitch. I said in the previous video yesterday that if Ten Hag gets the players that he wants, we can be unstoppable. Look at the blueprint that, and it pains me to say this, the blueprint that Manchester City has given every club that has a financial backing. Now, you can say that they are cheating. I mean, the 115 charges from the Premier League are there. But that is something that they will have to deal with. And if that happens with Sheikh Hassim and QATAR, then it will be dealt with when the time comes. But right now, the way it seems, money is ruling football. And for that factor, we were ruled by money because the Glazers only cared about themselves. Constantly took dividends out season after season and definitely gave the coach and coaches the bare minimum that they could. They never invested in the club. They didn't invest in the stadium. I mean, we know for a fact that it's falling apart. Sir Jim and his offer doesn't speak about, shall I say, investing in the infrastructure, investing in the team, or it doesn't seem concrete that he can take us to where he wants to take us, and as he said, back to the glory days. I'm not saying that Sheikh Hassim is going to come in and completely take us to the top and will be dominating for years to come. No, it's just a much better opportunity, a much more easier opportunity, because he has the financial structure to do so, the financial structure to compete with the likes of City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, who's still somehow spending millions, and even Newcastle, who are on the up and have Saudi owners. And that should be scary to us, because if we get Sir Jim and he cannot keep up with those owners, we're basically in the same boat as we are with the Glazers, unable to compete and unable to level up. We cannot be stuck in this past that we have been in and the glory days of back then. We need to move forward. We need to progress. We need to find ourselves in a state of content where we know that the owners know what they're doing, the board knows what they're doing, and every single department is working in tandem with Ten Hag, and we are working in one direction with one mind. And I feel that with the Glazers that could potentially be staying, and Sir Jim being at the club, that can and probably won't happen. Because how is it simple to note that Sir Jim wants to keep the Glazers, and that's the play that he's using in order to not even fully own the club, have a share in the club, a majority share. It's still going to be him and the Glazers discussing what's best for Man United. The Glazers will still be getting their money, and I think they will still be looking to work the cheap deals. And the evidence of Sir Jim Ratcliffe being a bad owner is literally there by Nice. The players that are at Nice have spoken out and said that he definitely does not and is not a good owner for the club. And he's willing to sell Nice in order to own Manchester United, if only for the majority. And over years, he will look to be somehow buying the Glazers out season after season. But why go through all of that when Sheikh Hassim is literally there with a full cash offer, ready to go, straight into your bank account, and it would be an easier transaction? I don't understand why the Glazers, who are always and have been money hungry, is not accepting this offer or the offers from the Qatar. Is it because they want to stay at the club? That probably is the reason. What other reason could there be than them wanting to stay, other than staying because they feel that they can still get a bit more millions out of Manchester United? And with us being on the up that we are, and if Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes in and he provides money for the transfers, which the Glazers don't have to take out of their own pocket, then the Glazers would stay gladly, because their dividends and their shares and the money that they are designated to get, they'll still get it. Look at them at the FA Cup final, sitting next to Fergie, taking Erik ten Hag's hand and looking as if he's part of the club. Nobody wants him there. It was toxic seeing him sit next to Sir Alex as if he did not even a quarter of what Sir Alex done for the club, with the hands being tied behind his back for the seasons that he was coaching under the Glazers. There were many times when he had to somehow come up with a plan in order to succeed, but he did, just like Ten Hag is doing now. But all in all, it seems a lot like Sir Jim is going to be the potential new owner of Manchester United, if only a majority owner. It looks a lot like the Glazers don't want to leave, and that is a bit of bad news, in my opinion. I certainly don't want Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I certainly have always been backing the Qatar bid, mainly because of what is there in concrete, black and white, being said about his offer. Almost up to 1 billion investment in terms of the infrastructure, the stadium, the players, etc., the academy, you name it. And on top of that, also giving the Glazers a full cash price straight up front for a full ownership. Not majority share, a full ownership. Him being the only person with the board that he chooses to work with him to go out and make Manchester United great again. I'm not saying Sir Jim can't do that. I'm not saying he won't if he does become our new owner. What I'm saying, and I have been saying, is that Qatar and Sheikh Hassim seems to be the better option on paper for the Glazers to take. And it is a crunch time. It's going to be more interesting now to see exactly who's actually going to own Manchester United. Whether news come out by Friday or before then, it's now getting to that D-Day. That deadline is ever closer, and sooner or later we're going to get a resolve with regards to who our new owners will be. And just lastly, if you stuck around this far into the video, thank you. Drop a like if you like what you hear. Subscribe to the channel, please. Maguire transfer news is being wanted by Spurs and Aston Villa. Good news. Also a bit of decent news, if I put it that way, because as much as they want him, it has to come down to him who decides to leave. Ten Hag and Fabrizio already said that the club and him have decided that it is best for Harry Maguire to leave. And it still has to come down to him to accept any offers that come in for him. The club have said that they will accept offers for him if it is a good offer for him. And again, it will come down to him deciding to leave or stay at the club. In my opinion, I do think that he will be leaving, because him being on the bench and with a potential Kim Min-jae, etc., a centre-back coming in, then he would be further down the pecking order. And I don't think his England place will be safe because of that. So Maguire definitely potentially leaving Manchester United. And that is good news for me personally, if I have to put it out there. But the main thing, Sheikh Hassim has submitted a £5.2 billion offer for a full ownership of Manchester United. And Sir Jim is in advanced negotiations with the Rain Group for a majority ownership of Manchester United. The takeover saga is getting hotter, and here at the Red Devils Talk with me, your host Sashin, we will continue to bring you any updates as and when they come. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day further. Bye bye, Red Devils, till we speak again soon.